The question 1. When changing lanes, you can check your blind spots by 1. Using the inside rear view mirror. 2. Using the outside rear view mirror. 3. Using both inside and outside rear view mirrors. 4. Turning your head and looking over your shoulder. The correct answer is 4. You should turn your head to check your blind spots before every lane change. The question 2. A diamond-shaped sign is a 1. Road hazard sign. 2. Interstate route sign. 3. School crossing sign. 4. Speed limit sign. The correct answer is 1. Warning signs are normally diamond-shaped and yellow, although orange warning signs are used in work areas. Such signs warn that you are approaching a hazardous location or an area where special rules apply. The question 3. If used legally, driving while under the influence of marijuana is 1. Legal. 2. Illegal. 3. Legal, but not recommended. 4. Recommended. The correct answer is 2. Even if you are using the substance legally, operating a vehicle while under the influence of marijuana is not legal. Doing so can be dangerous because the substance can distort your perception of space, time, and speed. The question 4. When parking uphill next to a curb, set the parking brake and 1. Keep the rear tires against the curb. 2. Keep the front tires straight ahead. 3. Turn your steering wheel away from the curb. 4. Turn your steering wheel toward the curb. The correct answer is 3. When parking facing uphill on a street that has a curb, set your parking brake and turn your steering wheel away from the curb. This way, if your vehicle starts to roll, it will roll into the curb. The question 5. Driving while being distracted by any activity. 1. Is never dangerous. 2. Usually causes the driver to react more slowly to hazards. 3. Usually causes the driver to drive faster. 4. Is only dangerous for young drivers. The correct answer is 2. Distractions cause drivers to react more slowly to traffic and hazards on the roadway. Distracted driving is never safe. The question 6. If you operate a motor vehicle registered in Washington State, you must 1. Have liability insurance and carry an ID card proving you have such insurance. 2. Carry insurance only if you ride a motorcycle or drive a large truck. 3. Carry insurance only if you are under age 18. 4. Carry insurance only if you have a car that was made less than 5 years prior. The correct answer is 1. If you operate a motor vehicle registered in Washington State, you must have liability insurance and carry proof that you have such insurance. The question 7. A leaking exhaust system can 1. Cause excessive oil use. 2. Require your vehicle to have a tune-up sooner than normal. 3. Make you drowsy while driving. 4. Set grass fires on country roads. The correct answer is 3. The exhaust system helps remove toxic gases, reduce the noise, and cool the hot gases coming from a running engine. Fumes from a leaky exhaust system can cause death in a very short time. They can also make you drowsy while driving. The question 8. You are approaching a railroad crossing that has no visible gates or flashing lights, but has a standard crossbuck. You should 1. Approach all tracks with extreme caution and cross only when you know that there is no train coming. 2. Turn your radio down to hear if there may be an approaching train. 3. Only continue once cleared to do so by a flagger, if applicable. 4. All of the above. The correct answer is 4. You must approach all railroad crossings with extreme caution and cross only when you know that no train is coming from either direction. If there is a flagger at a crossing, you must obey all of their instructions. The question 9. You are involved in an accident and another person is injured. You should 1. Move the injured away from the scene immediately. 2. Always leave the injured where they are. 3. Not move the injured unnecessarily. Keep the injured warm and administer first aid. 4. Stay away from the injured. The correct answer is 3. After an accident, do not move the injured unnecessarily. Unskilled handling can make serious injuries out of minor ones. Keep the injured warm until skilled help arrives. If there is severe bleeding, attempt to stop the flow of blood with direct pressure. The question 10. The effect that alcohol has on your reflexes and judgment. 1 is less pronounced when consuming beer instead of wine. 2 is less pronounced when consuming wine instead of beer. 3 is most pronounced when consuming hard ciders and mixed drinks. 4 depends on the amount of alcohol in your bloodstream. The correct answer is 4. Consuming any type of alcohol can have negative effects on your reflexes and judgment. It does not matter which type of alcohol is consumed, only how much alcohol has entered a person's bloodstream. The question 11. If you stop at a railroad crossing with more than one track. 1. Wait to proceed until you have a clear view of all tracks. 2. Stop on the first railroad track and watch for another train. 3. Go through as soon as the train passes. 4. Go through when one of the tracks is free. The correct answer is 1. If you are stopped at a railroad crossing with more than one track, do not start moving as soon as a train passes. Wait until you have a clear view down all tracks before you start across. Even where there is only one track, do not start across immediately after a train passes, check again for another train that may be approaching. The question 12. When approaching a steady red traffic light, drivers should 1. Drive through the intersection if there is no crossing traffic. 2. Continue driving, as they have the right of way. 3. Stop only if a police officer is nearby. 4. Come to a complete stop. The correct answer is 4. A steady red traffic light indicates that drivers must come to a complete stop. Driving through a red light is against the law and is extremely dangerous. Drivers may turn right on a steady red light if there is no sign prohibiting a turn on red. The question 13. When parallel parking between two cars, you should first 1. Turn your wheels to the left. 2. Turn your wheels to the right. 3. Pull up even with the car in front of your desired parking space. 4. Back slowly. The correct answer is 3. After finding a parking space, checking traffic, and signaling, you should stop parallel to the vehicle directly ahead of your desired parking space before turning your wheel to park. The question 14. When you see a school bus traveling on the opposite side on a two-lane, two-way roadway, you must stop. 1. If the red warning lights on the bus are flashing. 2. If the bus is off the road and the yellow lights are flashing. 3. Only if children are crossing the street. 4. If the bus has flashing yellow lights. The correct answer is 1. You must stop for a school bus that has its red lights flashing, whether it is the same or the opposite side of a two-lane road. You are not required to stop if the bus is on the opposite side of a road that has 3 or more marked traffic lanes, or that is divided by a median or physical barrier. The question 15. When riding at night, your bicycle must have a white headlight visible for 1. 300 feet. 2. 400 feet. 3 500 feet, 4 600 feet. The correct answer is 3. When riding at night, the bicycle must have a white headlight visible for 500 feet and a red reflector visible for 600 feet to the rear. A flashing taillight or a steady red taillight may be used in addition to the red reflector. The question 16. To check your blind spot before changing lanes. 1. Look into the left side mirror. 2. Look into the right side mirror. 3. Look into the rear view mirror. 4. Look over your shoulder in the direction you plan to move. The correct answer is 4. To check your blind spot before changing lanes, you should look over your shoulder in the direction that you plan to move. The question 17. A traffic light displaying a green arrow and a red light means that 1. You may only drive straight ahead. 2. You may drive only in the direction of the green arrow. 3. You must wait for a solid green light to proceed in any direction. 4. Vehicles moving in any direction must stop. The correct answer is 2. If a green arrow is shown with a red light, you can only drive in the direction of the arrow and only if the intersection is clear. The question 18. Coming to a complete stop at an intersection, yielding to cross traffic/pedestrians, and then proceeding through the intersection when the way is clear corresponds with 1. A solid red light. 2. A flashing yellow light. 3. A solid green light. 4. A flashing red light. The correct answer is 4. A flashing red traffic light means the same thing as a stop sign. You must come to a complete stop, yield to cross traffic and pedestrians, and then proceed when the way is clear. The question 19. On the freeway, you see a merging traffic sign. You should 1. Honk at incoming traffic. 2. Always remain at your present speed. 3. Speed up to avoid congesting traffic. 4. Move to another lane, if safe, to let traffic enter. The correct answer is 4. When on a roadway with 2 or more lanes, you should make room for entering vehicles. If there is no one driving next to you, move over one lane. The question 20. You may cross double solid yellow lines. 1. To pass a slow-moving truck. 2. To turn into a driveway. 3. To pass another car. 4. Under no conditions. The correct answer is 2. Double solid lines indicate that you may not pass or change lanes. You cannot cross the lines unless it is to turn left to enter or exit a highway, to turn into or from a driveway, or to make a U-turn, where permitted. The question 21. This road sign means 1. No left turn. 2. No U-turns. 3. No exit. 4. No right turn. The correct answer is 4. This sign indicates that right turns are prohibited. The question 22. To be parked legally on a street, a vehicle must be within 1. 6 inches of the curb. 2. 12 inches of the curb. 3. 18 inches of the curb. 4. 24 inches of the curb. The correct answer is 2. When parking on a street, it is prohibited to park more than 12 inches from a curb. The question 23. Don't follow other cars too closely because 1. You may not see the road between the cars. 2. You may not have time to stop if the vehicle in front of you slows or stops suddenly. 3. You may not see the vehicle's turn signals. 4. You may not see the other vehicle's brake lights. The correct answer is 2. If you follow too closely and the vehicle in front of you slows or stops suddenly, you may not have enough time to avoid a collision. The question 24. Drivers must yield to a pedestrian. 1. Even if the pedestrian crosses the street carelessly. 2. Only when the pedestrian is in a crosswalk. 3. Only if the pedestrian is on the same side of the road as the driver. 4. If the pedestrian uses a hand signal to ask oncoming drivers to stop. The correct answer is 1. Drivers must always yield to pedestrians in the street, even if they are crossing against a red light or are otherwise being careless. The question 25. When approaching an accident scene, you should 1. Keep your attention on your driving. 2. Keep moving. 3. Stop if you are involved or if emergency help has not yet arrived. 4. All of the above. The correct answer is 4. Do not stop at an accident scene unless you are involved or emergency help has not yet arrived. Keep your attention on your driving and keep moving, watching for people who might be on or near the road. Never drive to the scene of an accident, fire, or other disaster just to look.